The wait is over, and now we are back. Welcome to the Spike of Power. It's Power Spike with your boy dGon, Monty, and Dom. There's only so many ways to say this intro, Monty. That one, I think that one was okay.
It was great. We've got our 2 items. We had to wait. We're a scaling composition for those of you who are waiting live. dGon had some transportation errors. dGon, if you don't want to have transportation errors in Korea, I suggest you just never leave home like me.
Yeah, or the person that I live with right now.
You got a private helicopter or something, dGon. Come on. Step your
I'm
game
working
up.
on it. I'm working on it. It costs a lot. Maybe we could solve that soon, but we'll find out. All right. To kick things off, we just finished watching the LPL. LPL had some important matches today in the group of 5 teams. What was that, Group D? Yeah,
Yep.
Group D.
D.
We saw Ultra Prime and IG go head dead, and anyone's legend against Weibo. And this is Weibo, the team that made it to the World Finals, the team that has like many of the same parts, or upgraded in the jungle with Tarzan. We're like, okay, Tarzan will figure it out. Let's just give him a couple games. Not the case there. Anyone legend looking like a top team because of the group system. Dom, what do you make of the LPL placements so far, and some of these teams that are just not be able to find any success?
Yeah, I mean it's cutthroat from the beginning. I mean that's the whole new motto that they're going for, is that like every game matters, and you still see the same issues from a lot of the teams that were supposed to be good last split. So like LNG, Weibo, like these teams just haven't figured it out. And players like Xiaohu and Scout have just got massive passes, right? Because they've been so good for so long. You just assume they're gonna figure it out, but we're like in the middle of summer and they still don't look like top 5 mid laners in the region. They don't even look like top 10 at times. Scout is looking better than Xiaohu, but I mean it's really crazy to watch the fall off in real time. There's no reason that Weibo should be as bad as they are. Like a lot of these players were like 4 out of the 5 players. I mean, obviously Chris got benched today, but 4 out of the 5 players were at Worlds last year in quarterfinals. Like 3 of them were in finals. The fact that they are this bad, it's actually unfathomable, especially considering what the meta is. Like this is a meta where Tarzan should be popping off. Like he is one of the best players when it comes to having a wide champion pool and being able to play AP champions. Like that was always his huge strength in all of those LNG lineups. And now he just looks like, I don't know, like a bot most of the games. I'd say today he played a little bit better, but there's just always a problem on Weibo.
Well,
Somebody
I mean,
always runs it down.
The thing is, too, I mean, at least in today's games, like Xiaohu looks like he's playing with like a 500 millisecond lag between his brain and his hands. I don't even know what's going on in lane half the time when this guy is just dying. He looks shockingly terrible. I really just don't understand how. I have my theory. I think Scout is quitting on LNG. I think that for those of you who don't know, Scout for a long time has actually been trying to go back to Korea. A few years ago, he was actually contracted by KT before the Chinese came in and were like, actually, you can't sign that contract. And so there has been an issue of Scout like wanting to go back, and I think that if you are, the MV, I don't know if it happened this last year as well, if he tried to go back, but every offseason there's rumors, Scout going to go back to LCK, right? And I think that if you are, the reigning MVP and you are really reliant, on your synergy with Tarzan, and that's the core of the team, and then Tarzan leaves the team, you may not be super motivated any longer. And Scout has looked quite bad. But I mean,
how long does he have until he has to go to military? Like what's the age where you need to go to military?
So you have a quite long grace period. He could probably go for a couple more years.
I thought it was like 28. Like I thought it was like 28.
Usually it's like 28.
Hooney has the call now, so however old Hooney is, because he put it off for as long as he could.
Yeah, Hooney's 26. I mean, he's similar age, so I don't know, man. I feel like it's way. I mean, maybe Scout is just the best actor of all time, and he's actually good, and he's not just like completely lost his skill. If this is like soft inting, this is the best soft inting I've ever seen. Like, I wouldn't even report him. You know, if I was in game with him, I would just assume he was terrible. You know, it is what it is.
Well, they don't have another like mid laner lined up there on LNG, so if he is soft inting, they're not going to get rid of him until after the split is over. That would be so wild if they just cut him. They're like, hey, you're out. He gets cut, goes back to Korea. BDD, you know, one of the 4 gods of the mid lane here in the LCK.
Jesus.
It doesn't look great right now. And then a swapsies and then acting over back to being amazing. That would be the biggest heist ever. But one can dream. Hopefully BDD figures it out. Anyways, LNG. But I need
BDD
to know.
Might also be quiet quitting, by the way. Actually, it's just that this meta is really terrible for BDD, I think. He's never been an AD mid player. He actually had never even had...
His Corki was pretty... Or his Tristana was pretty good last split. Or last year.
Sure. He really... But this will surprise people. He had actually never played mid lane Jace before last year. So like a lot of the AD champs that you would consider, you know, kind of mid staples over the years, especially for a player who's been playing for like 8 years or whatever for BDD, he really has not delved into it all historically in his career. And now I have to watch him play his horrendous Yone.
You guys think they lose to Bro?
My votes are up. I did say Bro beat them, but it's more for the lulz. It's more for the lulz.
The one I'm really afraid of, Dom, is when we get the Kwangdong versus Brion matches back again.
Oh, they play
the blue
they
show.
play back to back again. Do they play like on the same week twice?
No.
But that was amazing, wasn't it?
It was very funny last year. They don't actually do that this time, I don't believe. I'm
checking the schedule now, but to bring it back to the LPL, we talked about it last week. We talked about it being season. How long do we give Tarzan? Like what needs to change? You know, they had 2 junglers of world class last year on Weibo in Weiwei and Karsa, the god of LMS, who's now playing on Flying Oyster. And now they don't have a backup plan because they thought Tarzan was going to solve all the problems. And then we're like, okay, cool. Let's give him a little bit so that he can warm up to the team. The thing about this format, because it's such a fun format or whatever, there's 5 teams in that group. It feels a little goofy or whatever. Like, if they finish in the bottom side, they're more than likely not going to Worlds. The last year's runners up with most of the same players and an upgrade of the jungle are not going to Worlds. Like,
I mean, going to Worlds, like they're probably not going to playoffs. Like, who are they better than? Like, Ultra Prime just fucking runs them. Like, Ultra Prime just ran them. They were 4-1 in this group stage. Like, they just can't. They can't play against anyone. Like, who can they beat at this point? I don't even know if they're going to beat IG.
They beat anyone's legend.
That was their one good
team.
Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah. That was their one good series. The entire placement stage. Like, they have just been objectively terrible.
And if you guys want to know the current stakes, like in that group D, right? It's the top 3 teams get out. Anyone's Legends and NIP are now locked. So NIP has had a bit of a bounce back over the last couple of weeks. And now we're in a scenario, because Ultra Prime lost to IG today, where Weibo could literally get last place in this group. It is an absolute toilet bowl match between IG and Weibo. And get this, guys, it is the very last match of the summer placements. So we're gonna end with a, I'm not gonna say banger, but consequential match. But it is going to be very funny. And like, there is a world too where, you know, the winner, both of those teams actually do not, you know, get into Group A. And the stakes of not getting into Group A are huge, because then if you're in Group B, you have to place top 3 in Group B, then win a best of 5 to get into playoffs, and then you get placed at the end of the playoff gauntlet. So it is really fucking hard to get to Worlds or to make a deep playoff run if you are in Group B. Like, really hard.
Yep.
I would venture to say not possible. Like, how many teams from Group B in the, you know, when we start the season after placements actually make it out? I think it's 0. Like, it just seems too ridiculous. It seems too ridiculous.
One will have to
team will guaranteed. Yeah.
Right. Other than one. Yeah. But it just seems so dumb. It seems dumb. and not dumb, like it's brutal. The format is brutal. It's dumb that a team
I like it.
as quality as Weibo
Yep.
is struggling like this. You turn the nameplates on. It's like KT levels boggling. Actually, maybe not KT levels because at least they've won a couple matches. Did Weibo?
KT has, but the difference is KT has had a hard strength of schedule, and it's actually just impossible to have a truly hard strength of schedule because the bad teams are evenly distributed throughout these groups, and there's no way a team with the players of Weibo's caliber should be losing to the teams in this
Ultra
group.
Prime and IG at least. Like,
yeah,
Ultra Prime, like I could understand if like AO's is actually good, like because I think AO is actually a top 4 team in LPL right now. If AO is legitimately good, and then NIP was 4th last split, let's say like there's a world where NIP could also be like 5th, 6th. So you might have 2 of the top 6 teams in your group, and you might be just a 7th, 8th team. That would be like it still would be disappointing, but it would be like you can accept the disappointment. But the level that Weibo's at, where they are just like Ultra Prime runs them. Like Hacker is just rocking up after 8 years of having like a 30% win rate in LPL. Hacker is rocking up and just dick slapping Tarzan every game in and game out. Like it is just absolutely brutal to watch. I can't believe that Tarzan, who in regular season was always like the best jungler, like he was one of the best junglers. It was either him or Kanavi most of the time in regular season. This guy was a regular season merchant. The whole criticism against Tarzan was that when the pressure was on, he would always disappear. So playoffs, worlds, he would play much worse than he would in regular season. This guy made his living shitting on players like Hacker. And now Tarzan can't hold a candle. He can't even like exist in the same game. Like Hacker is just owning him. It's so crazy to watch.
Yeah, definitely. Again, and also justice for Dago, man. That's a guy that I've been pulling for since, I guess when did he join? Was it BLG? When he joined BLG to be the starter, like, surprise, we signed Uzi, welcome to the bench. And then he just toiled away for a little bit. So it's been good to see success for him. We spent a lot of time there in Group D. What else? Who else have caught your eye? I guess Group D and C with LNG. Who's caught your eye on the positive side here, Dom?
LGD has been not bad. I think LGD is kind of getting it together. I think the meta is pretty good. Meteor's always been a carry jungler. He's able to still play Graves and stuff like in later games once the AD mid laners are banned, but he's looked pretty good overall. So I like Meteor so far. And LGD. Side of them,
I like JDG right now.
Yeah, JDG looks okay. They had some they had a pretty disgusting game yesterday, but they ended up winning it. Oh, it's all good.
I mean, I think it's feeling like JDG, it's the meta's trending in the right direction, especially for Ruler. So that's always a pleasure when it feels like we get to see Ruler and some of his best champions again.
Yeah, like Ashe being back in the meta as AD being like the most. I think it's just the highest prio AD carry in the LPL right now. And that's always been a champion Ruler has been insane on, even when he was back in LCK. So it's good for Ruler.
Sweet. All right. I just wanted to make sure that, again, we get some good with the bad. How's Milky Way? I want to throw that one out with FPX. Has he been?
He's all right. He's had some pop offs, but I feel like that team is just too mental boomed. It's just manager diff, player abuse difference. Unfortunately,
they get in the way. I know. Never mind.
I don't like player like general managers is different, but like team managers, that should be the easiest position to fire instantly if they ever do anything remotely fucked up. I feel like that is like the role where it's like the most replaceable in the whole organization. The fact that was even like a discussion, like I don't know what we're doing, man.
Yeah,
this guy is like doing anything to fuck up players. Kick him. I mean, they did, but the fact that it became such a big drama and they dropped the series pretty much directly because of it. The fact they weren't able to scrim during that week and they had to play with a sub for game 1 because they had submitted their roster already. Like that literally just ruined the first EDG series for FPX. And if EDG did not drop a game and a series to TT recently, then EDG would just, because of their game score, they'd be almost guaranteed to go into Group A. So the fact that EDG actually dropped to TT is a saving grace for FPX. It makes it so all they need to do is beat TT to get a slot in Group A. Yeah.
All right. Well, we will find out. The LPL will conclude their action on Saturday. Matches every day, and as you can see, or as we have said, all those slots will get locked in, and including that Saturday night matchup, IG versus Weibo. That's gonna be so fun. Are we gonna call it the toilet bowl, the toilet banger? Yeah, the toilet banger.
I just love that it's the last game.
Yeah, it's a good one. All
Yep.
right. So
I mean, every day matters for the rest of the placements. Like every single day, like no group is decided yet. So the last 4 days, each group gets decided.
and again, just the format is brutal. You're down on the bottom side. It's not looking good for you. All right. That is a look into the LPL. So thanks for leading that one. If you have more questions on that, let us know in the comments below or in the chat. And all of you in the chat, thanks for joining us and popping off. We see some of the familiar faces that we always see and deserve some of the praise. See you there, Nightmare and Mr. Ruddy himself. So thank you guys for hopping in. Yeah, but now it's time for, again, as we did last week, one of the most surreal and coolest partners to join us here on Power Spike. I'm doing it straight up. Let's do it. All right, listeners, here's some food for thought. Is there anything better than saving money? Well, it's a good time to remind you that this episode of Power Spike is brought to you by McDonald's. That's right, McDonald's, which is the thing that we think is a great feeling up there with beautiful weather, a good night's sleep, and I don't know, like a warm shower after a long day's work. I've had to come up with something. Right? And when it comes to saving money, one of the easiest ways to do that is using our McDonald's app. That's right. You can order from the app right there, save money, and get yourself your favorite thing. And now is the best part of it. Time to ask Christian and myself our preferred time and occasion to grab a deal in the McDonald's app. So, Christian, for those of them that didn't hear yet last week, what is your favorite time and meal to get for the McDonald's app?
Look, so my favorite time, we already went over it. I like the late night McDonald's. I feel like that's like the best time for it.
Yeah.
Like a late night McDonald's, it just hits. Like it hits just, I don't know. I love it. But one time that I think I should have been using the McDonald's app was when I did my recent chicken sandwich tier list, because I would have saved so much money if I had used that McDonald's app. And instead, I paid a bunch of delivery fees. I paid Uber Eats. Hey, I wasn't on game, but now I am. Thank you, McDonald's.
Yeah, and the apps do give very good deals, guys. You get free stuff, buy one get one deals. Like you can order ahead, so it's ready when you get there. You're actually just throwing if you don't use the app. That's the truth.
That's right.
You're gonna get the food anyway, so you might as well get points and discounts and deals. So yeah, it's great stuff, guys.
Again, free deals like the McDonald's fries, medium fries, or even sometimes a quarter pounder with cheese BOGO deal. Downloading the McDonald's app is a no-brainer because you can get a new deal every single day. What could be more fiscally responsible than that? I don't know. You should do it. Go do it right now. There you go. You have it. We love McDonald's and we love saving money. It's a match made in heaven. Save money every day with the McDonald's app. We are loving it. Thanks to our friends over at McDonald's. And again, we just love it's so cool. This is the coolest, man. It's just so cool. Oh God.
Also, shout out to all of you who dumpstered Dom's ranch on nuggets take instead of sweet and sour last time.
So
I appreciated you.
I had a lot of people actually tell me that it was based. A lot of people came to my chat and told me like it was like actually like hidden based.
Oh my God. All right.
Apparently everyone just loves sweet and sour.
Yes.
Yeah, dude. For
good
sweet and sour
reason.
is good and safe.
God,
and
I
yeah.
hate sweet and sour like sauce period on like everything. It's just
I don't like it on everything. I like it on my nuggies. They're delicious. The crunch into it, the savory, tender into the sweetness. Ugh, yes. Some people don't like sweet and savory. Like that's what I've learned. I was like, oh, they go together. And they're like, no, I like my savory here and my sweet here. And I'm like, that's That's weird. This is one of the cases where
just
like
wait till those people discover what the flavors of ketchup are, dGon. They're gonna be really disappointed.
sweet and sour is the best. Sweet and sour is the best. Sweet and sour is disgusting. Dom is base. Not gonna lie. The debate rages on for another.
Debate
week.
rages on.
All right, y'all. Time for a new segment of Keep or Kick. It's time to debate between the West. Bottom 2 teams of the LCS or the bottom 4 teams of the LEC. Which ones are you keeping and which ones are you kicking as we cut down both leagues to 6 teams? And instead of, as we always do, talk about the top, let's get into the bottom feeders. Let's get into the grinders of games that you got to power through if you're forced to fucking watch it all and have to have a take on it like this, Dom. Which one would you rather have? Let's find out right now as I ask these guys. Keep or kick? Okay. So let's settle it up here by identifying the bottom 2 teams in LCS and bottom 4 in LEC, because we could go straight standings, or we could go the ones that we just don't want to see.
No.
Yeah.
No. It's a theoretical. I think this has to be a theoretical debate.
Yeah.
Behind, like, do we keep LCS at 8 teams, and is this acceptable? Ignoring the facts that, of strength of schedule, of everything like that right now. Or would you rather watch? The question is really, would you rather watch a 6-team LCS or a 6-team LEC? That's the question.
I thought we were just gonna shit on orgs, but okay,
we can do that too. I mean, go for it.
Oh yeah, 100%. That's what I'm doing. That's
right,
what I'm fucking doing. Look, everyone that's been watching my LEC streams knows I have hated watching LEC this year. Like, it has just been miserable to watch this fucking league this year. There's so many teams that are, I mean, just look at the fucking standings, bro. There's 5 teams that are 2-5 or worse. Like, the bottom teams are so hard to watch because there's just no life in them. Like Shopify has had no life, I would say, so far in LCS this split, but at least last split they had a little bit of life.
They were fun last split.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, if you look at a team like Immortals, like they do some stuff, but when you like, I can't watch Rogue, I can't watch Heretics, man. I can't, like, Mad Lions is just the only reason I like watching Mad Lions is because I want to see them lose. But in terms of like their gameplay, I mean, they're just a terrible team. They're probably the worst team in LEC right now. It's just, there's so many games that you watch in LEC where you're like, this just doesn't sound like a fun day at all. Like, what? We had one upset on Saturday. You have BDS versus Rogue. Rogue shows up, has like a perfect draft for the meta, does absolutely nothing and loses the game in like 28 minutes. Then Heretics rocks up, has another really good Karthus draft. Like, I guess Karthus is just fucking bad in like LEC. You just have to draft Ivern and Maokai, and just that's your AP junglers, is Ivern and Maokai, right? Like, I guess Giant X upset Vitality, which is pretty cool. But the G2 versus KC match was not fun at all to watch. The Fnatic versus Mad Lions was only fun because it's funny to see the massive grift from Spanish fans now, where they're like, what do you mean we're quieter? Most of the best team, which is in their mind Fnatic, even though everyone knows Fnatic is not the best team. Everyone knows G2 is the best team in this region. 2 out of the 5 members on the best team are Spanish. Didn't you know? Like, no. Because those fans were not the fucking annoying fans. The Fnatic fans were not the annoying fans when you criticize Fnatic. Fnatic fans, if you go to like their subreddit and stuff, they're pretty realistic. Like, they're more depressed with their team than like really ready to like defend and retaliate. So yeah, I just can't wait for Mad Lions to run it down, be eliminated. Once they, like, even if they do, they have pretty good points because they went to finals in winter. So there's a chance that they still get 10th place and then make it into the summer finals or the season finals.
Yeah, they're in 4th place in terms of championship points right now.
Yeah, they're in 4th place. Like, and I think the problem is a lot of things would need to happen for them to not be there, because the other teams that have more points or like that have similar points to them just suck. So it's like you pretty much need, it's like Heretics
and Giant X to like crack top 6, and that's you
need Heretics or Giant X to like go on a run. I think both of them need to, like, one of them needs to get top 4. No, I think that's like what it is. It's like you need like one of them in top 4 and SK in top 3.
So Mad Lions has 155 points. Giant X has 65 points. So Summer, in order for them to catch up, right, you would need 90 points. So that means they would have to get 4th place Giant X to tie Mad Lions.
the top, and they would get the prio because they got their points later. So like fourth place. So Giant X would need to get fourth, and SK would need to like get like top 6 or something, like whatever. And then the other problem is like Vitality is looking pretty bad right now, so who knows if they do it as well. Like it seems very unlikely that Heretics, Giant X, Rogue, or K Corp places high enough in summer that Mad doesn't get like at least the 6th seed. It's unfortunate because they should probably side it more towards summer. Like I don't want the 10th place team from summer actually making the season finals. But
I mean technically, Dom, if Carmine Corp makes top 3 in summer, they make it in. Because it's the top 3 teams of summer as well as the remaining teams with the highest champion points. So technically, any of the teams who are on the outside looking in, but obviously that's not going to be a thing that happens.
Too bad.
So
like
really,
K Corp is a fraudulent 3 and 4, and then the other teams are 2 and 5. So it's like I don't believe they're doing anything.
Yeah. I you know, Heretics. It's sad because I love seeing Jankos perform at the highest level, and he hasn't been playing very well lately. But
and that team is so dead. Like they just have they have no ambition. That team has no ambition.
Their last 2 games are against Fnatic and G2. So
like, they have nothing, bro. That team does nothing. It's so hard to watch Heretics. Like I'm boys with people on that team. It's so hard to watch them play. They just do nothing and lose.
Yeah,
like that's the problem. So many of these teams are just like completely AFK. Even though Carmine Corp has 3 wins, they have like 2 mega fraudulent wins. And this game versus Vitality, they had a huge draft gap and they were able to pull it through with that. But I mean, there's so many of these teams, they're just so AFK. How do you watch it? We're in like this really weird situation right now where it's like there's a lot of LEC fans technically, right? Like there's like all these people shouting in the stands now. And like there's all these like fans on the eBuy stream and all these fans in the Kometo stream, but it feels like there's less like actual LEC fans. Like all the fans of LEC, they feel like they're just Spanish and French fans that are like cosplaying as LEC fans. Like I don't think they give a fuck about the LEC. They want to see their team do well. If you remove Mad Lions and K Corp tomorrow and there's no more co-streams, or they remove co-streaming, you think these guys are just going to watch the mainstream and they're just like in the league? They care about the league. There's this weird vibe around LEC right now that a lot of people are noticing. I mean, there was like a Reddit thread about it recently. It was #1 on Reddit that was talking about like why LEC just feels like the dark days. The viewership won't reflect it because this year they added co-streaming and they're just like their numbers are just going to be super inflated by eBuy and Kometo. But people that are watching know that there's like a lack of life right now in the region, and I feel like the way that they can turn this around would be by cutting 2 of the teams, by consolidating the league and consolidating the talent, because there's just not enough talent in Europe to supply 10 teams, in my opinion.
Well, I'll make a counter argument, and like for this purpose of this keeper kick, I'll say get rid of 2 of the LCS teams because that's the intent anyway. And I think replacing it with a promotion team and Riot's plan for the Americas is good for LCS. But it's not like I feel like the orgs of 100 Thieves or Immortals really want to be in LCS. We knew 100 Thieves almost already took the bag. They were very close. And the organization itself feels very disconnected from the fan base, and Immortals clearly doesn't care. So the thing is that my argument for keeping the 10 teams in LEC, now obviously I would like to cut both of these regions to 6 teams, but if I have to keep one, I keep LEC because I'm not even sure it's a talent problem in LEC. I think it's a GMing problem. Clearly, you do not have they didn't have to create this Mad Lions roster with the Spanish players that they did. It was Spanish, cynical. Yeah, exactly. These players had played together before, and that's why they had a head start coming into the first split of LEC. But, a lot of the GMing has been really cynical around nationalism or just outright bad GMing. I mean, Rogue has just been slowly downgrading over time, despite being a once very strong organization. And, whether it's individual players or not, it hurts to have players like Perks out of this league. And sure, his individual performance wasn't good, but I have no idea whether that was his own.
I mean, I don't know if Zweiru is playing better than Perks would have this split. Like Zweiru doesn't he played better than Perks probably would have in spring. But yeah, in terms of like this meta right now, like this is the meta that Perks was trying to fucking like force in winter anyway. It's like he was like one of the Tristana people. And like when you're watching
trading out Bo for closer, like are we really pretending like this is a massive upgrade for Karmine Corp? You know what I mean? And it's like there are a lot of players that could be on better teams. Like there's no reason why Vitality should be this bad. There's something wrong with the way the team was constructed and what's going on inside that roster.
How many ERL players have been brought up for like 6 months to a year and a half, like either one split or 1 to 3 splits? They're brought up, there's no development, and then they just get sent back to ERLs. Like there's been this constant revolving door of just like ERL talent that just hasn't done anything for the league. Like there used to be players that came in and they were like developed and they would be mainstay, but like there's so many. If you just think about the league, there are so many random ERL players that just play like one split and they leave. It's very fucking weird the way LEC works, because the whole idea of getting these rookie players is that you want to develop them over a long period of time. But it feels like GMs, they just find one guy who seems to be playing well at the moment, and then it's like, all right, yeah, peace, Douglas. Oh yeah, see ya, Mersa. Oh, I mean, who else? Like we had like Checolad, we had Schlatten. Like if you just go down the fucking roster, like Jack Spectra. I mean, if you go down the roster, I mean, there's so fucking many at this point. Like Shigenda got like a year and a half again for some like random reason. Genag, I mean, like you can go through and it's like there's so many of these players that just get a year and a half. Like, I mean, we just had Kabashard get brought back, Socken brought back. They were kicked after that. They brought back like Limit, then they sent it back to ERLs. There's just so many players that are rotating in and out of LEC, and to me, I don't think it does anything for the league.
Fucking Cronies still not on a team. Lol.
That is outrageous, by the way.
I mean, think about like, okay, who do we have last year? 113 Dayor. Like, I mean, I don't know, man. Like, it just goes on and on and on and on. Neon, like Neon's another person that was like in, then he's back to ERLs.
What's crazy is like after their performances, think about this, Tom. Neon, Unforgiven, and Crown Shot all don't have teams now. Like, what did these guys fucking do? They were all really good at some point.
I mean, it's just like these new players people just have this rookie obsession, and I'm fine with people like getting rookies for a reason and developing them. Like, I think that makes sense. If you like do your GMing like that, or you have like some type of team identity, but it's literally just plug and play. Like, I mean, I looked at like 2023, and then there's like other people that I'm looking at that were here. I mean, what was the point of having Evie in this league? Like, even if we're just talking not ERLs, like, what was the point of having like Ruby and Evie in this league?
No, I thought he escaped the wrath. He was out, man. He was out. We don't need to bring him up anymore. He's like, dead already.
That he's out. Like, it's just like a lot of these. Like, I don't see what the point was of these players being in the league if you're not going to develop them over time, or you don't have like an idea to like build around those types of players. Like, it just seems like there's absolutely no point.
But I'm saying the number of team slots isn't the issue. It's that the cynical nationalism combined with like very questionable GMing feels like the main problem with the LEC. I think there is enough talent.
How do we stop that? We stop those orgs from existing. We cut them from the fucking league, Monty. That's what we do. Like, the GMs are not going anywhere in a 10-team league. If there's only 6 GMs, there's only 6 teams that can be fucked by their GMs. Simple math.
All right. So so Dom, would you? I'm just curious. The Mad Lions and Karmine Corp are legitimately driving a lot of viewership. Would you destroy those teams as your 4 teams that you would get rid of?
Yeah. What are the 4 that you would get rid of?
I would get rid of Rogue. I would get rid of Heretics. I would probably get rid of Giant X, even though they're a little bit more fun to watch right now. And then I would probably get rid of, well, I don't even know if I'll get rid of KC. Like, I don't know if
you can't.
You can't. That's content, man.
Yeah, like you kind of need to have KC and Mad Lions for content. Like, honestly, like SK is having a resurgence right now, but like I could do without watching SK for the last like 3 years. Like, they haven't done too much for me, so.
I think you have to decide between BDS and Vitality as an organization. I assume that the players, right? You would get the best players, but I'm just thinking along, hey, which teams have the nationalistic lines that you're going to lock into, and which teams are just OG teams that are going to be in there. So G2 Fnatic, like they're in, right? And they're fine. Yep. SK, I think, is that borderline. It's historic. It's been there for a long time.
They were like out of the league for a bit, so like I feel like there's no history and there's no like real There's
it
no
shows the
real,
investment. They have the T-Mobile thing. Like they're invested in this league. It's not.
I mean, they don't have many fans. Like SK, like they have negative fan base. Like I have no idea, bro. Like my point is that like I'm down with K Corp and Mad Lions being in the league. I just like wish that they operated differently and it wasn't just so marketed at like only being like now. It's like the way that these teams are marketed is like we are French, we are France, and we are Spain. And if you are not from our country, then fuck you. Like that is like how everything is.
Which
And it's
is
like, does that help?
which is honestly funny because like Vitality is like the OG French org.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's weird that Carmine Corp has been able to supplant them, right? Because especially in Counter-Strike, like obviously Vitality is the French team with Ziwu and everything.
Yeah, but then you have 3 French teams, right? BDS counts, I'd imagine, counts like as a French team. Vitality, Carmine Corp, like you cut one of them, and then you're left with your 6, right? So, on the flip side for LCS, I wanted to push back a little bit, Monty. So, which ones would you get rid of? You said Immortals, 100 Thieves?
Immortals.
I think it's. Is there a world where it's Shopify and Dignitas? Because Shopify is not TSM.
I mean, the thing is like
Maybe
like
Immortals.
Shopify is new and appears to be trying, I would say. The thing that really bothers me about 100 Thieves is like they were always secondary in terms of the org's focus.
Yeah.
And 100 Thieves, it's like I just got sick of it because it felt like Nadeshot would like never give a shit about 100 Thieves League of Legends. And then when they started doing well, he was like, "Oh, I'm up for this and super excited." And then like, where the fuck is he now? You know what I mean? And they cut a lot of the staff around this team. We know they almost sold already. It just feels like they're coasting super hard at this point in time. And I don't even really understand what 100 Thieves businesses are. It's like, hey, we're making this energy drink, but then we're selling this energy drink. And now we're making keyboards and we're making a video game, but we're not making a video game. It's like this business is just a fucking mess. And they've never really supported League of Legends, right? Whereas at least I have hope. So the thing that gives me hope about Shopify is that we know that the CEO of Shopify himself is a massive esports fan. He's a StarCraft fan originally, right? It's why this team exists. This is a pet project for him. So I have way more faith because Shopify is a massive company that is, according to their resources, devoting very little of that to esports, but like they have so much money that it feels like as long as Tobias, the CEO of Shopify, is like passionate about this, it will be supported. You know what I mean? And like NRG came back in, but they did it in a very savvy way. And NRG is a very well-run org and has been for a number of years across everything they've ever done. Immortals is clearly just on autopilot. Like they don't want to spend money and they want to run a sustainable business. And I think that's fine. I think their business is good, but it doesn't lead to inspiring fan interaction. Dignitas obviously is another one but I feel like at least Dignitas is trying right now and that their players have personality, but that's more on the players than the org. You know what I mean?
Right. And that was my thinking with that because we have our 4 that are in Cloud9 Energy, FlyQuest, Team Liquid, and then 4 that are on the fence. I think you make a good point here with Shopify. It's like, wow, this is a massive not conglomerate, massive like online shopping platform that is very successful. My worry is that it is like a pet project, so the plug could get pulled at any time.
No, dGon, because here's the thing: all professional sports teams are pet projects of rich people. All of them.
Okay. That's also a good point.
If you look at the economics of sports teams, they do not justify the price at which they trade at based on the revenue that they generate. Right?
Yeah. Right.
And part of that is scarcity, but also because turns out it's fun to own sports teams if you're really rich. It is fun. And so if it's fun, if it's legit fun for this guy, then I believe he will continue to do a good job. I also think Shopify has done a very good job in other esports that they've been involved in. So I don't really have a bone to pick with Shopify right now because it doesn't feel like they are mega slacking. And they also just paid a lot of money to get into this league.
Yeah. the reason why I'm still just it's a dark horse chance that Immortals stays if they get the choice, is that it is sustainable. Like this shit is it's
Yeah.
one of the few organizations that
I-
is sustainable, and they've
Now,
got
all of them.
guys.
Here's the thing, dGon. All of them are sustainable right now, basically, because Riot increased when they switched over to the new partnership model and they stopped doing rev share and they just did stipend. They actually increased their budgets by another $1 million. So the thing is that now it is very easy to make a profit running an LCS team, which is why I'm curious how they're going to get rid of 2 of them at this point in time.
Well, Immortals was sustaable beforehand. Now it's profitable.
Exactly. Now they're like, why would Immortals
Now
leave?
they're rich.
Is the question. I don't really see them as motivated to leave. But I mean, the motivation is neither here nor there. If I had the power to get rid of them, I would.
Okay. That makes sense.
Here's another argument. There is actually an argument to keep Immortals in because they own the MIBR brand, and like if they transferred to the Southern Conference, they could actually probably drive a lot of fan base. Especially because they have Ole, who is very popular in Brazil because he has played in Brazil previously.
Yeah, he played in Brazil.
Okay. Well, outside chance that I was like, well, maybe it's 100 Thieves Day. Could be that, but we'll see. All right, but we land on getting rid of the LEC teams. Is that who we're kicking?
I'm getting rid of the LEC teams.
Monty?
I'm getting rid of the LCS teams.
No way, dude.
I think it's a GMing problem at LEC. I think it's a GMing problem.
I hate the LEC, man. Like this I had to do something I've never had to do before. I had to just turn off my stream in the middle of LEC this week. Like, I just couldn't take it anymore. Like it literally was like painful. Like I would like rather do anything else besides for that. It was just crazy.
But in all seriousness, I would actually cut both of these leagues down to 6 teams. I think that would be much more interesting in the long run. And reintroduce promotion relegation for the last couple of slots. Also, just objectively, 8 teams in a league is a lot easier to plan formats around than 10. You can do some really cool things with formats with 8 teams.
Yeah. Gosh. I think, promotion like it goes. This feels like we're going back to the beginning, though. Like the whole reason why we got rid of promotion relegation was the
because we wanted more money from venture capital because
yes, that's why we got rid of
it. People were afraid of creating these orgs. Yeah, they were afraid of creating these orgs because then their $1 million investment goes poof because of one best of 5. Or 2 best of 5s.
To be fair, as somebody who did run an LCS team in that era, it was very difficult to negotiate with sponsors at that time because they would always be like, well, we can't give you that much money because you might not be there. You know what I mean? Yep. So it's really actually very hard. And sponsorships still are the only way you make money, basically, outside of the Riot stipends. So, it was tough, I will say, to negotiate under those conditions for sponsors. But I mean, the real reason this happened is because Riot wanted the teams to take VC, and therefore they had to franchise and create expensive slots in order to shotgun wedding, existing team owners with VC or bring in outside owners. So it wasn't because promotion relegation wasn't working. And a lot of the arguments that I hear about this is like, oh, well, aren't you afraid of all those washed pro players coming in and taking those promotion spots again? Or like Cloud9, who used to farm, LCS slots and then sell them for $1 million. It's like, well, first off, you can just not let Cloud9 have a secondary team or any team have a secondary team. And then second off, my argument is this: if washed pros are still good enough to get into the league, why shouldn't they be there?
Well, they're not washed. Like,
by definition. So what? Who cares?
Yeah.
Bro, if I'm coming back 33 years old,
baby,
playing Udyr and just like running the fucking challenger circuit, like you've got a fucking problem. Like, better go to like 4 teams.
I don't know. You could be League of Legends' Fear, right? Is it Fear from Dota that was like old on EG that came back and.
I was friends with him when I was like, because he played Dota and I played Dota on like the same like server. We're in the same in-house league when we were like, I think he was like 18 or 19 at the time. I was like 15. I knew Fear. He was like the GOAT of our region at that point.
Yeah. That was always a fun story to track and watch. Those are the teams that we would get rid of, and as you could see, Monty and Dom are both split. So the question is for you all at home, which bottom teams would you get rid of to go to 6? Would you get rid of the bottom 6 over in the LEC or the bottom 2 in the LCS? And for bonus points, which ones would you get rid of? Let us know in the comments. And while you're there, if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to Last Free Nation across any platform that you watch so that you miss any of our content. And of course, Monty, this is the time where we talk about all of the content that we have over on Culture Channel, LFN Sports, and the stuff that you've been knocking out here.
Yeah, it's been fun. What we just released our horrible, scathing review of The Acolyte, which is so bad, by the way, guys. And then we're The Boys is up next, followed by House of the Dragon, Nerd Legion, and we're in the middle of our Paul Thomas Anderson director's arc on Foreplay right now, so that's fun. If you guys want to hit up Magnolia and The Master, and the last one will be Phantom Thread that we're doing in that one. And then this is a fun one. I think we've decided that we're going to, this will actually be very hilarious, I think, for our next arc. We've been talking about this, not set in stone yet, but we have been toying with the idea of picking movies that we know each person picks a movie that they love, but they know the other two people will hate to just get roasted.
That's awesome.
So
wait, what is a movie like that? Because I feel like all you guys have
all right.
similar takes or like
Do
similar
it for us.
No. We all. So I have suggested for myself. So for example, there are some movies that I love that I know that Thorn and Richard are probably going to hate, including Cool Runnings, Hook,
That's so
and
funny.
The Three Musketeers, the 1993 one with Chris O'Donnell, Oliver Pratt, Kiefer Sutherland.
Dude.
And Tim Curry as Cardinal Richelieu. So there are some ones that, and so we'll see what we end up picking, but I've kind of offered those out there.
Light said throat Belgian.
What if you had to guess, what movies would you like, Dom, that you think we wouldn't like? Because I'm putting you on the spot here. For me, I'll name 3 movies, and I don't know if you'll like them. So one would be Rudy. I fucking love Rudy. But Dom, you love, like all of us love
Rudy,
football.
Rudy's good. Rudy's actually a good movie, I think.
It's cheesy,
but look, a lot of those feel-good sports movies are like. Is Rudy better than Cool Runnings? Probably.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I like a lot of like crime movies. So like some of my favorite movies are like Carlito's Way and like
Carlito's Way is a great movie.
Yeah, like I don't know what you guys wouldn't like.
You gotta pick is there like a cheesy movie that you like? Heat's one of the best movies ever made. Dom, you're bad.
Dom, you're very bad at this. You're picking great movies.
those are like some of my favorite movies. Like I don't know. I don't think I like any.
You don't have
movies.
like. You don't have like a guilty pleasure movie, really?
I liked Air, but like I don't know if you guys would probably like that one too. Did you guys watch Air?
I haven't seen it. No,
I haven't seen Air.
I think that's a really good movie. Maybe you guys don't like. I don't know.
I'm a rom-com guy, so I'd watch like Crazy Stupid Love or The Notebook. Either one of those.
There we go. Those are fun ones.
Yeah.
What movie did I like that you guys might hate? Yeah, I don't know. I have no idea. I think that there's.
I love Air, but
I just don't like any like terrible movies. I don't think. I think if a movie is terrible, I just try not to like it. Like I'm just like, yeah, I don't know.
You don't have a movie that you think fondly of from your childhood or at all, or anything like that?
Those were the movies I was watching in my childhood.
Space Jam, Bubble Boy, Click, Mean Girls, Air Bud.
There's no, you don't have a soft spot for like a single kind of like thoroughly bad movie.
Well, I don't watch many movies.
Like
I watch
Nicolas Cage movies, like Jean-Claude Van Damme movies. Like I don't know. All right.
Yeah, I don't know. Not any that I like. I mean, there's movies that I like didn't hate, but I know that are bad movies that I like would never watch again.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, I don't know.
Dom's movie watching and movie reviews are too based for this project here, Monty. I tried.
Yeah. We already did an episode on Heat too, so we haven't done Carlito's Way yet, but we did do, because it's like Heat is like one of Thorin's favorite movies ever. It's like a top 2 movie for him. So.
Yeah, it's same for me. It's like top 5.
All right.
Bro,
Well,
that scene that that has one of the most legendary scenes in my mind of like all time. I know you guys know exactly which scene I'm talking
I
about.
did
It's
it.
Robin.
I acted it last year in my acting class. A partner of
cool.
mine who's like a much better actor than me was like, "Hey, I want to do this." He's a comedic actor and he wanted to work on his serious pieces, and so we got into it and we did about like over 2 months. And then that one day that we rehearsed and filmed it was fun. It was super fun to try and be that, because that's not the kind of guy I am either. I play what you see here, but both of us stretched a bit, and it was very cool. It was intense as fuck. It was fun. It was fun.
So
It was fun. It was
I'm
fun.
I'm actually really hoping that they pick that really terrible 1993 Three Musketeers, because did you know
Teach.
that part of that movie, so you remember in the 90s those action movies would have like songs attached to them,
Yes.
where they would be heavily played on the radio, and it's like over the ending credits, like those songs would actually hit #1 on the charts and everything like that.
Yeah.
So you would not know this,
Top
but
Gun,
there
Danger
is
Zone.
yeah, well, sure. But there was a song associated with that Three Musketeer movies called, I shit you not, All for Love. Okay.
Damn.
All right, I gotta look.
All right, I got one. Wait.
And,
What about
and it is Bryan Adams, Rod Stewart, and Sting on this song that you have never heard, and it hit #1 on the Billboard Hot 100, and it is
Damn.
fucking terrible.
What about
anyway? You got one?
What about the Fast and the Furious? Like
There
that
you
was one
go,
where I feel like that's one that like is one that I remember fondly, but I feel like maybe like you guys would be like, yeah, it's a shit movie. Like
I mean, it is objectively shit, but
because you know where like it's
you
going
can
and
still
everything.
like it. But the point is, you know, obviously we know these movies are bad too. It's just like we have irrational love for them. So we'll see where that goes. I
Yeah.
think it could be really funny, where one person, like, you just try and defend it, and the other people just destroy it.
The top song, we were talking about theme songs from movies. The top song from Fast and Furious was great. You hear that fucking bell, boom, boom, boom,
Oh, the
boom,
Tokyo
boom,
Drift
and then
one?
yeah. You're in. Also, I quickly skimmed through the song. It sounds like 3 other songs from that era, Monty, and
Dude, it is
never
so
stuck.
bad.
It's bad. It's bad.
It is shocking that hit #1 on the Billboard Top 100. But they really tried back in those days. But I was like, damn, this is just and it's so funny because the movie's so bad. Also, it stars Charlie Sheen. Like literally the Three Musketeers are Charlie Sheen, Kiefer Sutherland, and Oliver Platt, and Chris O'Donnell, who is like in the middle of his like very brief fame arc when he was doing like Batman and Robin and Batman Forever,
Robin. Yep.
is D'Artagnan. But I also love Tim Curry, and he's the villain, so you know it's fun.
That was a great tangent. Again, if you like this kind of stuff, head on over to Last Free Nation Culture and you get your fix. Damn, maybe we get in this here, Dom. We'll see. Go ahead, Monty.
I was gonna say it's also just funny because Charlie Sheen and Kiefer Sutherland were like massive degenerates in real life, and so for them to be in this Three Musketeer movies is just together is really, really funny.
Yeah. Oh man, God, that song just it didn't sit in like, oh, I know what this is, but it sat in like 3 different spots. I was like, all right, I give up. Okay, well, we talked about Heat earlier as one of the greatest movies out there, which leads us to warmer and sunnier days are calling. Fuel up with them with our friend of the show, Factor, and their no prep, no mess meals. Meet your wellness goals in time for summer thanks to the menu of chef-crafted meals with options like Calorie Smart, Protein Plus, and Keto. Holy crap, I need some Protein Plus right now because it is, Monty, it is hard to get the protein I need out here. Factor's fresh and
cook for yourself.
because where I'm staying, the stove is broken. It is so frustrating.
Where you're staying.
Factor's fresh and never frozen meals are dietitian approved and ready to eat in just 2 minutes, which I could use because the stove is broken. So no matter how busy you are, you'll always have time to enjoy
or how broken your stove.
nutritious, great meals. We've talked about it before, Dom. You'll love the different varieties of it, and it helps you with your schedule.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I'm at the point where now I'm running out of Factor meals. So I get 12, but Rachel eats some of them as well.
Rachel.
Yeah, so we run out of factor meals on like Saturday generally, and we get them on Tuesday. So like we are factor enthusiasts.
Disastrous. Yeah, I miss it, man. I really enjoyed being in America and having the, doing the MSI streams in the morning and being able to just cruise through lunch and have the factor meal while I was still doing VOD reviews.
Yep. It's clutch. Super clutch. I do the same thing on streams, like normally during LEC, because most of the time I'm not really streaming during when I would normally eat like lunch because I wake up so early. And like sometimes I'll do a factor meal at like 6 a.m., but most of the time I'll start with like something else, like a coffee and some breakfast food. But a lot of times when I'm doing LEC, I'll just always do one like in between games, like around like noon or whatever. 2 minutes, really quick. Even with the fast in between games of LEC, I still have time to just go downstairs, make one, come back up, eat it, watch a video for like a few minutes, and I'm good. I'm ready to go for the rest of the day.
Dom is one of the hardest working dudes I know in the space with his schedule. And a lot of the times as summer approaches, we know that all of you Giga Chads that watch here are getting your summer goals in check to get your body right. So make sure to get this here because it makes it so much easier to have the meal ready. And it doesn't taste like crap. It tastes delicious from breakfast to dessert.
It's really good.
Stay fueled with easy, nutritious options and restaurant quality meals that feature premium ingredients like filet mignon, shrimp, and blackened salmon. Do you guys say salmon or salmon? Like
salmon.
Yeah, no one puts the L in there. No one puts the L in there. I heard it a couple times and I was like, you need to correct yourself. And in the meantime,
yeah, when did that start? I feel like that used to not be a thing. Like, people just started saying salmon.
Yeah. Yeah.
Some conspiracy, I think.
Well, whatever you call it, it's one of the meals, delicious meals you can get here over at Factor. And if you are wanting to get your healthy, nutritious lifestyle together with ease, head on over to factormeals.com/powerspike50 and use the code powerspike50 to get 50% off your first box plus 20% off your next box. That's code powerspike50 at factormeals.com/powerspike to get 50% off of your first box while your subscription is active. So that is, again, thanks to our friends over at Factor for making this happen. And yeah, miss it dearly because protein's hard to come by when the stove is broken, Monty. All right. That's Factor. Let's move on to our penultimate, not the ultimate, but penultimate segment that we have for the day. It's time for some LCK fraud alert that I've had some up close and personal invested feelings towards. And we're talking about a team in the ascendancy that took their first knock and a team that is in the cellar and might possibly be staring down a historically bad start. Yes, we're talking about the Guangdong Freaks and KT Rolster, filled with world champs, but can't fight their way into a win. Let's see who's more fraudulent. Let's get into it. So for those of you that don't know, KT Rolster are sitting in actual last place. Not like, oh, they're tied with Bro at 0-4. They've lost more games than Bro. And so they are in last place. They're in 10th and still looking for their first win against the Bros in the actual toilet bowl next this upcoming week. Guangdong Freaks, they had the hot start. They were looking good. They're at the top of the table, actually, for a little while. And then they ran into the buzzsaw that was T1 and got dismantled. But it was in games 2 and 3. They won a game, and it was so exciting. And you got to see CV Max give a hug to his teammates. And then they pull out a Giga Draft in game 2, where it's like, okay, we're going against Kalista. Talia's been a power pick. Let's shift it down to the bottom side of the map where we have Leaper, our streamer 80 carry that is coming on in to stabilize the role. We'll have him play it. We're like, wow, CV Max, he's done it. He got himself the player he needs. He's Giga drafting, and it just gets destroyed because lethality Kalista just never gets close to
also Nico in laning phase, right? Into Talia Nautilus. It's like, turns out when you don't have E on Talia, you can just get pooped on at level 1. I know, weird, right?
Yeah, who would have thought it? But yeah, so those were the two teams. They're trending in. Oh, I guess the starts were different. The trends are, we'll see, but the start is different. Who is more fraudulent in your eyes here, Monty?
Well, I mean, clearly KT is much more
Gotta
fraudulent.
be KT.
Yeah.
All right, thank
But
guys. Thank you. Thanks for coming. Thanks for watching. This has been Frontler.
KT also has a strength of schedule issue where they had to play Kwangdong, D+,
Yeah.
Genji, and then Hanwha Life in their first 4 matches. But dGon, I have some exciting news for you. The very next match is with Breon, and one of those teams is going 0-5 and will be definitively 10th place, which is very exciting. But I hate this KT roster. I mean, I always hated this KT roster. I've been calling them fraudulent. Like, ever since they got rid of my guys, Cuz and Keen, from KT, they let them go. They tried to do the dumbest DRX reunion possible, except they left out the guy who actually was the MVP of Worlds from that, who I also hate, but for different
You mean
reasons.
Kingen?
No,
There was no MVP.
Finals. He was the MVP of the finals. The MVP,
Who was the MVP?
The MVP of the
There is no
tournament.
MVP of Worlds.
You know, I declare it, and it was Zika, and we all know.
Oh, you mean the LCK player of the year?
Yeah, LCK player of the year.
The best player from LCK that year. Yeah, nice.
Yes, exactly. It
I
didn't
know who
matter
you're
if
talking
he
about.
got 6th place in the regular season and was one
He was
game
the
away
best
from not
player
qualifying for World. He was the single best
LCK.
player in the LCK all year. Yes.
Yeah,
To be fair, he probably got that award because they didn't actually have the World's MVP award that he deserved. But you know, LCK gets confused between those two things. But Zico was the main carry of that. And so when we look at the DRX reunion that's happening right now, what is there to like about what's happening? You know, Perfect was mysteriously ill to start the season, but not so sick that he couldn't be subbed in the middle of a match, which is very weird for a sick person.
That was super wild. That was so weird. That was so weird.
This man is too sick to play, but he's here in the studio and being subbed in. Okay, KT, that makes... Surely there was no weird drama going on behind the scenes. Yeah, surely not. And then we have Beryl and Pioshik, who are absolutely terrible right now. BDD, who is struggling in this meta. Pioshik is a player that shouldn't even be in this meta either, and is also performing... Like, the team looks lifeless. This is such a downgrade off of the KT team that did so much work last summer. And yes, it's almost entirely different players, right? And basically everybody left the team except for BDD. But it feels bad that KT assembled this roster and they are finally getting the punishment that they deserve for making this team, because it's just embarrassing. I would really just rather see KT experiment with their tier 2 roster within this, so at least I could maybe get hyped of some rookies. I feel bad for Perfect because look, he hasn't been playing well recently, but he was trending upwards in spring. When he was first subbed in, he looked like he was doing all right on KT, but it seems like there's really deep dysfunction within this team right now, and that the attitude to and the will to win just isn't there. So I mean, they suck a lot. How fraudulent are they? Not terribly, because we knew they were going to be bad, like 3 out of 10 maybe. And then Kwangdong, I'm going to say they're a little bit more fraudulent because they actually started strong. You know, they get the KT win again, which they had in spring as well. That's where the Kwangdong hype began. But this time, Dom, I'm not that high on them. And the reason why is because they have really shown very little diversity in this meta. They have literally played every single game with Bulldog papering over his garbage laning phase with Tristana and Corki. And the one game he can't play those champions, he plays a horrible Yone in mid lane. Dudu's no longer on a tank top. It's like their formula was Dudu on tank top, Cuz on Maokai, Bulldog on Corki or Tristana win game. So I feel like they had a meta read that was working for them, but as soon as that gets taken away, they look like absolute trash. And they also should have been 2-0'd in that T1 series. They should have absolutely lost game 1. It's just T1 can't stop throwing.
Dude, T1 just keep looking for a fight that doesn't exist until they throw the game. It's very fun.
Yeah. I have a similar take. I mean, obviously, I think KT is more fraudulent. I mean, if you have some level of expectations and then you're in 10th place, you are by definition more fraudulent than a team that is at the top of the table. But the thing I would say is it's not just that they've been losing their games. The Hanwha Life series, how many kills do they get in the entire series? They get like 2 or 3 kills.
3. Yeah,
It was
like maybe like
they
3
played
kills.
so badly in those games. It was
So
ridiculous.
disgusting in that series. Like I was watching it because I was because that was a little bit right before LPL. I was watching game 1 and then I watched game 2 after. And my God, they just actually did absolutely nothing and lost. And I would say that they deserve way higher for me than a 3 out of 10 because this was a team that was in 5th place last. Like they played a 5-game best of 5 against Damwon. Like there was a chance that they beat Damwon in spring. So like they went from being a team that could compete with some of these top teams. I mean, they took a series off Gen G, right? Are they the only team that has won a series against Gen G like all year? Like,
Yes. And by the way,
so-
I mean, Gen G is on an amazing win streak through MSI now as well. Dating back to that KT loss. So
yeah. So like for me, this is like a 6-7 out of 10 fraudulency because they used to be able to kind of compete with the top teams. Now they can't. They like Hanwha Life looks like Gen G versus a wild card team when KT's playing against Hanwha Life. Like it's insane to see how hard they're getting beat.
I mean,
It was
Dom,
4 kills.
there is a world where KT is the only team that beats Gen G this year. As crazy as that sounds, that world still exists.
Yep.
We're living in it right now. We're getting through, to halfway through the summer split in Korea, and like that could be true.
Halfway through. Wait, we're not halfway through. Come on, we've had what?
We're getting
2
there.
weeks?
We're getting towards there. We got 2 more weeks. 2.5 weeks.
we've got not even a quarter, but like we'll take it.
Well, look, if Gen G beats Hanwha Life, there's really nobody else left to defeat them in the first round robin. It's like
True.
D+ is really the only other team that's going to threaten them, maybe.
Yeah. And they didn't when they played this week. So wait, no, that was T1. They played T1.
Yeah.
My bad.
No, that's all right.
But yeah, just a little behind the curtains for our fans at home that wonder what it's like on the desk. You do want to see shorter days. Like, we love League, but work is work. So getting to see 2-0s, you're like, ooh, 2-0, 2-0. Okay, cool. It's going to be short, like 5-hour day or whatever. These matches, so there's 4 matches because Gen G beat Bro 2-0 and then Hanwha Life beat KT 2-0. Broke the fastest game record 3 times out of the 4 matches. Bro got beat by Gen G. That was the fastest game. And then the second time they beat him, that became the new fastest game. And then KT got the fucking wheels knocked off of them. That was the fastest game. It's depressing.
There were 3 24-minute games. So Gen G versus Brion, both games were 24 minutes.
Yeah.
Hanwha Life versus KT, game 1 was 25 minutes. Game 2 was 24 minutes. So all games were 25 minutes or under in 2 best of 3s.
We don't know how to check, but Atlas kept asking, like, is this the fastest day of LCK ever in the history of LCK? Probably. Like, that was
I was watching
fast.
it live. I was watching it live on Sunday because I have to watch the matches live because I have my LCK show with Wolf the next morning. And so I was like, wow, that was easy.
I think you're being pretty lenient on KT here, Monty, in terms of like the fraud.
So I think Dom raised some good points about them in comparison to last split and the win over Gen G and the fact that they placed 4th. But I think my expectation was them after they dumped the roster at the end of the year and seeing the names on this roster and like not looking forward to the DRX reunion. So I will admit,
it would be like middle of the pack, right? Like I mean, it's hard to go much lower than 6th. When you saw this roster, at least in my mind, compared to like the bottom.
Yeah, that's true. But I still think they'll probably be top 6. Like you can start 0-4 now, but I mean, the rest of their schedule is going to be like DRX, Nongshim, Fearx, and Brion, all of which they should beat, right? So
I don't know. I'm like, like DRX, I think is actually playing better than right now.
Yeah, you may have thought that, but then they lost to Nongshim, dude. And those Nongshim games were fucking painful. That was DRX. DRX got you all hot and bothered because you're like, ooh, Plet is kind of good. Ooh, but
Plet is good. Plet is
good. Plet is good.
KT is playing atrociously bad. Like they're not. They're like
I think
actually completely AFK.
Yeah, I think they lost the will to live.
it's like watching like Heretics play or something, where it's like, are you like, can you beat anyone if you play like this? Like, it's not like, oh, you're just playing against Hanwha. Like, look, like Hanwha Life is good, but they're not fucking doing this to like every team they play against. Like DRX
No.
took a game off Hanwha Life. Like, they could play
They're
the
not
game
getting
against Hanwha Life.
fiddlesticks.
Yeah, they actually could not do anything. Like KT, just like they showed up and they couldn't even breathe against Hanwha Life at any point in either of the games. It seemed very fucking weird to me. Like, there's something weird. Like, this KT team, I don't actually think they're going to be 6th unless something massive happens. I think this team is going like bottom 3. This reminds me of that Nongshim team with BDD on it. I guess it's because it's like the same team.
That's what Wolf said too. It was
Really?
the 2022 Nongshim roster. Yeah, the 2022 Nongshim roster with Ghost and BDD.
Yes.
And Wakana. That was supposed to be good, but then they all just collectively shit the bed. Yeah.
Yes. That's what this is. That's a good comparison, I think.
This is for North American fans, TL. This is TL Super Team.
It's not quite that drastic, but yeah, it's
no. But I mean, even that team, like that team is like, I mean, compared to expectations, like, but they were still like a top 4 team. Like that Nongshim roster. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that Nongshim roster was just it was something different, bro. Like it was something I never thought I would see. Like, I thought Ghost was bad. When everyone was telling me the year before that he was one of the best AD carries in the world just because he was on Dom 1, I didn't believe it. I thought he was bad. I didn't think he was this bad. Like, I didn't think he was like going to be like the worst AD carry in LCK potentially and like just retire straight up. I thought he'd be around for a minute. I thought he'd at least do like the
fly. It's more like the fly quest from last year. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Depends on where they end. Maybe I'm being too dramatic, but I really have seen nothing from this team. They look like
they
mega.
look really mega. It was really that last Hanwha game that broke you. I think if you're a KT fan, because the level of embarrassment in that loss was very high.
Yeah, they just looked so resigned to losing. Like, it was insane.
The couple of takeaways I have since you picked these two teams to break down were KT's academy team is the best team in academy. They were the best team last split. They could, do the full swap. Perfect plays on both teams for now, but like, and is a product of the system. So this is a move that they could do to just try and get some wins. Because again, kind of like with the LPL format and a couple of these teams that we're expecting to be good, and they had some funny games. You're starting to run out of time. You're running out of time here. If you're KT, you got to get some wins. Maybe you leave the team in against Bro because it is Bro, and Karis looks like he doesn't know how to play mid at all. But then you have the in-person telecom war against T1 to close out the weekend. Maybe you just slide in your youngins there and be like, okay, save the main team from this shellacking, and then we can put him back in against Nongshim, and they'll be on a 2-game winning streak or something like that for their mental. But definitely an option for this roster team. And then for Kwangdong, I was on this week's episode of Pog State, and I buy the Kwangdong stocks. I'm like, okay, cool. They've stabilized it. I'm in. Everybody, all 3 of them were like, he's new. He doesn't understand. Kwangdong are like in waves, and it happens like clockwork. And right now, you bought at the peak, you idiot. I was like, no, this team's good.
The thing about Kwangdong is I just need to see them play a different composition and win a game, which they haven't done. That's why I'm down on them.
But I mean, I don't know. I feel like Bulldog is actually like he has potential. There's some hope for me for Bulldog. Like, I don't know. I think that he still can't lane with the best players, but I actually like him as a player. Like, I think that he's
who are you? You were the one who was shitting all over me for Kwangdong Love last split, and now you're the Kwangdong
it's like, okay, so there's a couple things. So for like
that is a little crazy.
For Kwangdong, I didn't love them last split because I felt like they were just like, I thought that they were like overhyped. I thought Bull was like actually bad. Like, I think this Leaper guy is much better. I thought Bull was giga overhyped by just having like a good early week. Like, and then everyone was like, he's amazing, and then he just was like not great. Where I feel like this Leaper guy, he shows me something, like he I think he's better. And also I think Bulldog is somebody who's just gonna get better over time. I mean, he's like young player, right? So Like he's somebody who's been grinding solo queue. He's rank 1. I feel like he's more consistent now, at least in the beginning games, than he was last split. Maybe it's just good meta for him. Who knows? But I mean, if you are a bad laner, I feel like this is a meta that could kind of expose you. So I don't know. I think that this team is just better off now. I think they just needed an extra split. And I don't think they're good. I think they're like 5th place good.
Which is good. Like that's
one more than they were last time. Nice.
Yeah, but there's a difference between being 6th place 7 and 11 and being like 5th place
Sure.
like 9 and 9
I'm here
or
for
like
it, man.
10 and 8.
Obviously,
like
I and a lot of the issue with Kwangdong too was like Andil going in and out when Andil finally hit his stride, and Andil is actually quite good, I think. And I obviously am a fan of Cuz and Dudu, so I think this roster, I'm hopeful, but I do want to see more dimension out of them in this meta than we've gotten so far.
To fully complete my LCK-ness, I went to the Kwangdong Freaks YouTube channel, and they have a documentary on they have content on the team, but there are no translations. So I did the auto translations, and just hearing the way that CV Max coaches and seeing the way that he coaches the team and being around old school style Korean coaches, he's just of that cut, man. He's making the players feel dumb and asking them like those types of questions, but then using these grandiose analogies for the players. It's really good. It's really, really good. If you've got time, go watch that. I tried to watch the bro one, and it was too depressing. It was too depressing, and the auto translations do not work because the players are so quiet. But CV Max is yelling in the it's great. It's just
CV Max.
Yeah. All right. Well, those are our fraudulency scales here for this week's episode. If you have takes on these two squads, if you're with me, vote in Kwangdong. Let us know. Also, just because it's going to be on the show tomorrow, I voted for Bro over KT, and then I assume T1 beats KT as well. I think KT are going 0-6, man. I think it's a little.
Oh my god, that'd be really hype if it actually happened.
Yeah.
I'm here. I want KT to be punished for the sin of creating this team as hard as possible.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, like, I don't know. I feel like they're probably in different mentalities. Like, Bro is used to being in the fucking shitter. Like, they're used to just being always losing and being like, all right, let's give it our best, guys. Let's give it our best again. Like, they're in that mentality. I feel like KT is going to come into this series stiff. Like, I feel like they're going to come into this series and they're not going to be ready to like play their best. I feel like they're going to be like, okay, guys, it was pretty bad before, but let's not lose to Bro. Like, that's going to be their mentality. And I think that will like bite them in the ass.
And they're good enough players that if they find success, that's fine. It's very much, I like the word they use, stiff. It's once they get punched in the face once, I think they blow up. And Young Jae is a good jungler. He's on loan from Kwangdong Freaks. He can carry. So, and we know one of the tilters on that squad is Pioshik.
Pioshik, this has got to look. This is how I'll tell you how KT wins. KT has to accept that they are a North American team. And the way you accept you're a North American team is you play things like when you have the AP jungler spot. No. That actually low key, yes, but then also I think you just pick Maokai as your AP jungler. Like you're like Pioshik.
Yep.
I don't want to see you on like Brand or Karthus. Yeah. Just play Maokai. Like you are not that good. Like you don't get please, I swear to God, no one pick Nidalee in this series. No whoever picks Nidalee loses in this series, bro. That is how it's gonna fucking go down. So we need Maokai in this series. No Nidalee, we need Maokai. Well, look, so there's something that I
hear the desperation in your voice
with Yamato, which is that if you're a bad team, you need your jungler to be a plant. Like it has to be either Ivern, Zyra, or Maokai. You just need a plant as your jungler. If you do not have a plant jungler and you're a bad team, you're fucked. That's it.
That's funny. By the way, shout out to Comet, one of the current coaches on KT, who coincidentally was also the coach for Nongshim Red Force in their failure season. So maybe he's just hollowing teams from the inside out.
That's brutal. Okay.
Damn. Brutal.
Shout outs, comment. All right. Those are our fraudulent scale scores for these squads. Let us know what you think in the comments below. All right, before we get to our Galaxy Brain Club discussion, it's time for the one that you know and love. Look, I finished mine already. It's our AG1. Again, AG1 has become part of our daily routines in our lives. We've talked about it before, how it makes me feel more energetic, my gut health. We've talked about the taste. Dom loves the taste, pineapple core based, not overly sweet, but definitely not planty. And it's something that has just been part of the routine. So many friends have reached out over time here about AG1. And one of the best parts about it is the research that has gone into it. We've after doing some research, AG1 has said 90% of people in a research study felt more energy after 30 days of drinking AG1, and 91% of participants noticed that they need less coffee. So if you're a coffee addict, this is for you. They needed less coffee after 60 days of drinking AG1. And AG1 contains ingredients that supports sustained energy so that you could be the best version of yourself each and every day here, Monty.
Yeah, it's good stuff. I actually have noticed a difference in energy in myself since drinking it every day. I have it first thing in the morning. Obviously, provides a lot of pre and probiotics as well as vitamins for you. So very good stuff. I have enjoyed my time with AG1 so far. Continuing to drink it daily. Had some this morning.
Dom, it's been part of, like I guess our lives since we've been introduced to it. How has your relationship with AG1 evolved over time?
I'm not as consistent as you guys, but I do it. It's mainly just when I wake up super early. I can't do anything. So I have actually more AG1 than I think probably both of you guys left, because I get like 70 packets every shipment, and that's like every like month I'm getting like 70 packets. But yeah, I mean, I like it. The one thing I've been saying on the show is that it doesn't taste green. Like, it looks green. It looks like a green drink. It's like a fruity drink. So that's what I like about it. I have it in the mornings. I've started taking creatine, but I do not put it in the AG1 like you guys do. I take it separately. But maybe that's the next step. Maybe I've got to advance my AG1
Stack your
game.
supplements all into one.
Yeah. Maybe I got to do that. I got to get on the Monty stack.
Yeah. Well, AG1 is a foundational nutrition supplement that delivers daily nutrients and gut health support and is backed by multiple research studies, so you can trust what you're putting into your body. So if we had to recommend one product to support whole body health, it's AG1. And that's why we're excited to have them as a partner here on Power Spike. So if you want to take ownership of your health, it starts with AG1. Try AG1 and get a free 1-year supply of vitamin D3, K2, and 5 free AG1 travel packs with your first purchase at drinkag1.com/LFN Legends. That's drinkag1.com/LFN Legends. Check it out. Thanks to our friends over at AG1 for supporting the show. And thanks for all the friends who have taken pictures and sent us your testimonials. It helps a lot because, again, we wouldn't be here without them and without you guys supporting. So thank you very much, everybody. All right. Last one of the day. Time for the Galaxy Brain Club, especially after this episode where we've talked about the 4 major regions across. And this is why I love this show, and I hope that you all love this show. It's one of the few places where we get to really dive into it based on our multiple expertises. Yeah. Expertise. So
Yeah.
let's get into who are the top 3 teams in the world right now, as we are warming up, steps away from Worlds qualification playoffs, summer titles, quite possibly the last summer titles that in a 2-split system for some of these leagues. So let's get into it. The Galaxy Brain Club, who are the top 3 teams in the world? All right. Let's line up some suspects here, right? We've got Genji, BLG, top.
Why I like this? Why I like this, dGon, is because it was a really clear cut. I think top 4 at MSI, but
Yeah.
the meta has changed massively, and we're heading into MSI version 2, which is the Esports World Cup. And like Gen G looks great, and we've talked about how on previous episodes how this meta really suits them, right? Like, yeah, we get Zeri on Pays again, right? Or Pays on Zeri again, and Pays is looking good. But we also have Canyon on his signature AP junglers, and ooh, yeah, who's that guy who's always been good at AD mid laners? That's Chovy, right? Coming back on the Corki, Tristana, Yone. These are all have been good picks for him for a very long time. Although obviously Corki very different right now. It just really feels like Gen G. So I think Gen G, after the MSI win with their performances in this meta, clear cut number 1. But where do you go after that? Because even though, sure, Top and BLG have all done, they've both done very well in LPL. Knight maybe not his best state right now. T1 certainly doesn't seem to look very awesome. G2, they've been stumbling a little bit, even though I think you'd really have to be a hater to say like they weren't top 4 in the world after watching MSI. So I think it's an interesting conversation.
Yeah, Dom, where do you weigh on this? One name that Monty didn't say, JDG, is another one that we could float out there.
Yeah.
What are you thinking?
Yeah, I mean, I think top esports is playing like pretty well within the LPL too. If I were to go top 3, I don't know. It's like really tough, right? Because I feel like Hanwha Life is playing better as a team, but I don't actually feel like the meta suits them very well. Like I
They've
don't
also
think
had
that
some
like
really terrible games from Doran and Peanut. Like that's the
yeah,
thing is
that's the
like they've
problem.
had
It's
some
like
fucking bad games.
I kind of want to say that stylistically, like in theory, I think that JDG should probably be in there because like
I
when
have
you
them in number
have
2 personally.
you have them number 2.
Yeah, I think they're number 2. But
You think they're better than BLG?
I I think based on what I've seen, like some of the games from Knight I've been less impressed by, and I really feel like we're moving into a meta where Ruler should be able to shine. Like we haven't even seen 14-12 with the Ezreal buffs on LPL yet because they're
We see
finishing
it
out
now.
this. Oh, I thought it
we're
was 14-11 still this week.
no,
In
I'm pretty sure it's
LCK, no, it was
14-12.
14-12. Yeah.
No,
we
no, no,
were-
no. In
No,
in LPL.
Pretty sure it's 14-12. Yeah, I think it's
Okay.
14-12. Yeah.
So for but only for the final week of the competition. I thought they were still on 14-11 this
Yeah, it
week.
says it on the patch like thing on the fandom, but I'm pretty sure they're showing patch 14-12. I can go back and look, but pretty sure.
That's fair. But I think this should be a good patch for Ruler, regardless. Like 14-12, with the Zeri buffs coming through, it seems like, they've transitioned from Flandre over to Sheer right now. I like JDG quite a bit at the
Oh,
moment.
maybe it is
And
14-11. Maybe I'm wrong, actually.
honestly, like there's only been a couple games so far this week. So,
Yeah.
The thing is with LCK right now is like with T1's fall off and like struggles in this meta and propensity to throw. Some of the really, I think, shaky games we've seen from Hanwha, like they looked much better against KT, but that was a KT who was doing nothing. And some of the other Hanwha games, like Doran and Peanut, have really been rough. I think it's hard to, D plus like looked kind of strong, but then came back and lost to T1. I think it's hard to say that there are 2 LCK teams in the top 3 right now. I would not put them up there. And
I
it's
think
a shame,
JDG,
like continue.
Yeah, what I was gonna say was the thing about JDG is that I think they have like one of the weaker groups with like FPX like having the manager fall off and EDG being
True.
not good and TT being pretty bad. I think that it's really hard in LPL to tell who's good because they're all playing different groups. And I think that like Group B, like BLG's group, I think is much harder. I think LGD looks like they would beat a team like EDG pretty handedly right now. WE, I think, is better than any other team in Group A. So it's very hard for me to like judge strength until the next stage when teams start playing against each other. But I think stylistically, that's the thing that should benefit JDG because Kanavi at his core is a carry jungler. Now you can play a bunch of these AP champs. His Zyra was bad, but he's like probably one of the only players in the world that gets the Nidalee pass outside of Canyon. So that's like really nice. So they have the ability to play that and they can play like the high tempo style.
Yeah, I think I agree with you here, Monty. When it comes to putting a second team in the LPL above an LPL team, just because it does. And Dom also brings a good point, which makes it tough to put JDG in because their group is easier, like a lot easier compared to the other groups. So give me G2. I'm kidding.
No, but dGon, I really wish we lived in a world where like G2 was undefeated and looking really strong right now, because I think then you could make an argument, right? But there's been some happy gaming from G2. They look like they were on an MSI kind of break and hangover. You know, and we have 3 5-0 teams, but I don't think like the meta really hasn't clicked for any of the other top teams in the way that it has for Gen.G, right? Like Gen.G, I think you'd be really hard pressed to say they're not the best team in the world right now.
Yeah, I think the thing about G2 is like it doesn't look like they have. I don't know. They just have a different take on what the meta is, because they don't play like AP junglers ever. Like I just looked at their game so far, and it's like they're playing Sejuani, Xin Zhao, Vi, Rek'Sai, Sejuani. It's like there's no Maokai, there's no like Brand, no Karthus. They don't play any AP junglers.
Here's one for you, Dom. Yike has never played a pro Karthus game ever in his career, ever.
But that's understandable, because it's like
with
like
the meta, sure, but like
meta.
If we think about AP junglers with Yike, it's Lilia, right? That's the AP jungler he has played traditionally. So he doesn't. It does, and like he's the Bel'Veth Kha'Zix guy. He's not the Nidalee Karthus guy.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you need to play Nidalee. I would say like Zyra is something that everyone should play. It's like super fucking broken and super easy. So like that takes like literally 0 skill. Free. Yeah.
True.
You just walk up, you throw a plant down with Comet and Leandries. I mean, if you play any solo queue, you know how strong a Zyra feels. Like if the enemy support Zyra at like 30 minutes has Rylai's Leandries, you're like, damn, bro, like we just can't ever fight into them. Like this champion is just like winning every team fight alone. Well, now you just have that at like 16 minutes with Zyra jungle, and it's like, how does the other team play? It just makes no sense.
Yeah, definitely makes it tough. I don't know who I'd put third then. Like
it's really hard, because I think like probably the top 4, 3 of them are LPL. It's it's BLG, Top, and JDG. So until another LCK team gets it together, or T1, it just feels like T1 is struggling mightily right now. And
I think the problem is the meta for T1. I feel like this is something that they've never been good at. Like they've always had Owner as a facilitator for the team. They've never played around jungle well as a team, where like everyone is trying to like get him ahead to carry. Like he's always just been like the X factor on the team. And I feel like his biggest strength was being able to like play tanks and engage. Like they removed Rel, which is one of his best champions. Like Lee Sin is not super meta right now, which is another one of his best champions. So like, what is he playing? He's just playing like kind of like Sejuani every game, feels like.
I think an underrated aspect of T1 that very few people talk about is that one of the strongest things that T1 did was have very good engage synergy between Owner and Faker, which is like these guys, those 2 guys are the ones that have typically engaged their fights. And they are really good at coordinating around team fight engages. But if they are not on engaged champions, it really doesn't. The team doesn't work. But I think what's weird about T1 too is that it feels like they're making very silly mistakes that we haven't seen them make in the past. Like they're calling for fights when they have key ults down, then like teleporting Faker into the middle of the enemy team. And it feels like, when we saw them like throw the first game to Guangdong in what was a very clean early game where they had tremendous pressure, tremendous turret advantages, and then they just opted into really stupid fights and overplayed their hand. Like we haven't seen the same kind of precision in closing out the games that we've seen from T1 previously, and that's what's disturbing to me.
Yeah, but isn't that what you clean up right now? Like that feels like what you're working on. It's like, okay, we are playing different champs on this meta. Let me get comfortable with these champs, and then I can retain this shot calling skill set of not even shot calling skill set. It's just for them right now. It feels like the over aggression when they have the lead. Like they're trying to take every fight, and it's like, well, we don't need every fight. And yes, you should be able to play all the champs in the meta to the you're 10 out of 10, but that's just not possible. And it feels like they feel a little uncomfortable with it. and so therefore their shot calling is suffering.
I mean, also like individually, like they have like 2 out of 5 members that are playing well. Like it feels like. I think that's the biggest issue. And then Faker is still looking really rough to me. I mean, the way he
MSI
died to
hangover.
Showmaker, I mean, it's like he was just bad at MSI too. It's not like
When
the
he
way
just
he
walked
died
at Showmaker.
level 1, like it literally looked like he was AI. It did not look like AI.
It was very weird.
He just like walked up and just like he just like autoed the other guy until he was dead. And he's like, "Nice, I did it." TV's back delayed. Like I don't know, bro. The fact that Domwon lost that game was like impossible to me. Like I don't know how that can happen, but it did. Because Domwon macro, it is undefeated, man. Like there's nothing that Domwon can do when their macro kicks in. It is too
This
hard
is the
to
new
beat.
version of Breon. Get amazing advantages. Find a fascinating new way to throw every game.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, what was Kingen doing in that series? Like Kingen actually looked like he was trolling. Like I thought Rich's Wrath was gonna have a tweet about match fixing after that game. Like that was fucking insane. Like
You
that
didn't
flash.
like his
I don't even
epic
know what he was
flash
going
flag?
for. But it wasn't like he was trying to flash flank. It literally looked like he just like he like passed out on his keyboard and just like hit every button at the same time, and one of them was flash. Because like it wasn't like he looked like he was like trying to like flash forward. It just looked like he was walking away, then he randomly like flashed the wrong direction or something. I don't know. It was like super weird.
That was brutal. I remember we had comms. Maybe it was G-Sun. I forgot who was producing at the time. It said, we have confirmation that it was accidental. And I was like, well, cool. Like, glad we figured out that flash was accidental.
I mean, like if it wasn't accidental, then that means that like he needs to be like reported because it's a literal match fix. So it better have been accidental. Like,
just me being new, I was like, how did we get confirmed that it was accidental? The game wasn't over yet. How did we confirm?
It's actually a recurring problem on D plus Kia, because that's the same reason that Kingen's contract got signed by the org, was that the GM just passed out and signed his name on the Kingen contract. So
nice.
It's the only way I can explain him being on this roster. So
all right, well, okay, so who are we slotting in for the final spot? Who we got?
Well, I mean, I don't know if Dom agrees with me. I mean, you might think, Dom, that JDG is like 4th or something like that. But
Nah,
I mean,
I'll
BLG is
just put
still
AL. I'll just put AL in there.
Yeah, give me the owls,
top
baby.
to the top.
I think they're legit top 4 in
Shanks
LPL.
has been playing really, really good right now.
Shanks has been fucking. I mean, the whole team, like they've got that. I mean, that's why they're my favorite team. They've got that OMG vibe. Isn't it crazy that in terms of games they've already like we're not even all the way through the 4th week. We've just finished 3 weeks into the season, and they already have 18 games played. Like they're 14-4 in game score already. Like that is just like that's an absurd number of games they've played already.
Yeah. Also that group. Just that group gets the extra matches.
Yep.
Damn. We really putting anyone's legends up there?
I mean, the crazy thing is like they might be. I mean, I don't know if I think Krako's super well suited to this meta either, but like I think Shanks and Kyle, I've been pleasantly surprised by Kyle's level of play on this roster. But I like their flexibility within their compositions. Like they seem to be doing a lot of stuff that works for them, and at least they can kind of get the AP out of Ale and Hope when they need it. With some of these Ziggs comps that they're running. So they play a lot of different styles of comps. Anyone's legends, like they've got a lot of
Tabe
tools.
Magic, bro. That guy is like one of the GOAT coaches at this point. Like he just has that.
Is, man, he's the whisperer.
When you just watch his teams, I
scrims.
mean, his teams like instantly become better. It just seems like it'd be very crazy if it was just a coincidence. Maybe he just has like immaculate vibes. People are around Tabe and they just want to perform or something.
Maybe he only selects teams to coach that he knows are already good. That's kind of like I do think Reaper's a good coach, but that is also definitely the Reaper way, where he's like, I'm not going to coach your garbage team. So he waits for a good offer.
The thing is, he joins them when they are garbage, though. Like when he joined BLG, like he joined BLG when they were not supposed to be good, and as soon as he joined, they became like really good. And same thing with AL, like he joined them at the end of last split when they were like failing. So he's joining teams that they're low. He has the vision.
It's also like it's not like Shanks isn't a known quantity, and he went from being a control mage player to like quite a good AD player recently. So that's an impressive turnaround for a very long-term veteran.
Yeah.
Also, he made Krako not crazy. Not sure how you did that.
No, we've got
Because Krako was a filthy inter, which is why he was fun. But this is the Krako that wins, not the Krako
experience
that makes me laugh.
Yeah. Well, we've got 2 LPL teams for both of our experts here. Do you also have 2 LPL teams in there behind Gen G? Let us know in the comments below.
You really have to be an LCK homer to think that there are 2 LCK teams in the top 3 after watching the early parts of the LCK, I think.
A KFE, one would say. So
yes, a KFE.
Yeah,
Are you a KFE now?
not yet. If Kwangdong make top 4, then yes. Give me all the FE. But of K. All right, I'm losing it. There you go, guys. Boom, another episode in the books. Thanks for those of you watching live for waiting while we were getting things set up and I was navigating the Korean public transit system. Yeah, another episode in the books. Dom co-streaming the final week, the deciding week of the placements in the LPL, right?
Yep. Yeah. Every single day matters. Last 4 days, a group is decided every day. So that's how it goes.
Looking forward to Weibo IG on Saturday. The dream.
Yeah. I mean, it's gonna matter. Like unless
it's weird, Dom. It's weird, Dom. I really wonder why it took 10 years to design formats where every match matters. Strange.
I mean, we got kind of
we didn't have the technology.
Well.
We didn't have the technology to do that before.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, this format, I don't think it can go this well. Like, it has to, like, in order for this to happen, essentially the teams in the middle of the pack have to 1-1 each other, which happened RA versus LNG, WE versus LGD, EDG versus FPX. Like, they all 1-1'd each other, which is why it turned out like this. But I mean, I like it so far. I think the format, the only thing about LPL is the format's a little bit complicated for like somebody who's not really into it, but
you can just explain it very simply though, which is like just watch Group A games in the next stage. It's very easy. Like you know, you don't have to understand it to know what games to watch. That's the thing.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, we got the LPL toilet bowl and we have the LCK toilet bowl. It's the bro versus the pyo chick.
Yo shit.
Yeah, we'll see
in
who
the
wins.
Toilet bowl.
We'll see who wins in that one. Monty, you've got Bangers Only and then Sunday Live, correct?
Well, we've got Summoning Insight tomorrow. So that'll be fun. Yep.
Okay. Boom. There you have it, y'all. Another episode in the books. We will get you the schedule coming out very shortly. The Esports World Cup break will be happening after this weekend. So be on the lookout for announcements here on when the episode is going to come out. And with that closes out this week's episode of Power Spike. Thanks to all our friends and sponsors, and we'll catch you next time for more Power Spike. See ya.